You just made a sale. The customer is happy, their card is out, and they're feeling really good about your brand. What do most stores do next? Nothing. Maybe a shipping confirmation, that's it. Well, here's the thing. The moment after someone buys is the highest trust moment you'll ever have with that customer. They just gave you money, they believe in your product, and most brands completely waste this window. So a post-purchase flow isn't just a thank you email, it's how you turn one-time buyers into repeat customers for life, get more reviews, reduce refund requests, and build actual loyalty. So in this video, I'm gonna actually walk you through exactly how to set up a post-purchase flow in Klaviyo step by step. We're building a 4 email sequence for new customers that maximizes lifetime value literally from day one. Okay, let's get into it. Now, before we get into the actual flow, what I really want to cover is why the post-purchase flow matters in the first place, right? And there's a few different reasons. Number one is that it's going to be the highest trust window that a customer has with your brand. So the moment after purchase equals the highest trust that you'll ever have because they've literally committed to paying you money for your product, right? Number two is customer belief. The customer just gave you money, so obviously they believe in your brand and what you're doing. Number three, wasted opportunity. So most brands actually waste this window with silence, right? Most of the brands that I've audited on Klaviyo, they just have like a shipping confirmation that gets sent out. No real nurturing, no like frequently asked questions, no thank you, no genuine appreciation for someone, literally placing an order with your brand. And also the other great thing is that the post-purchase flow is a huge revenue driver as well. This flow drives repeat purchases, it drives reviews, and it drives customer and brand loyalty. So let me get into a few different other things relating to the post-purchase flow. Here is what a post-purchase flow actually does for your brand. It thanks the customer and eases buyer's remorse. Oftentimes when someone places an order, sometimes they can regret it, right? Even if they actually, at the time they bought the product, they wanted the product, they can instantly regret it after. So that customer post-purchase allows you to kind of dig into that a little bit more and make them feel good about placing an order with your brand. Number two, it sets expectations as far as shipping, what's to come next, tracking information, that sort of thing. Number three, we can educate them on how to actually use the product and maybe even give them some use tips and tricks that as easy as possible for them to actually use the product. It opens the door for reviews and repeat purchases. And lastly, it builds a relationship with your customer, right? It's not just purely transactional. It builds an actual relationship, and it's something that you can actually blossom and nurture over the course of many, many years with them. Now, the 4 email new customer post-purchase structure, like I said, there's 4 separate emails that I always recommend that you have as part of your post-purchase sequence. Number one is the plain text founder thank you. Now, this is optional. I like to do plain text because it makes it seem the founder is, genuinely like actively reaching out to the customer that just bought. And it just kind of, humanizes the brand a little bit and makes, the customer feel really, really good if the founder reaches out to them. But again, you can also do a designed email as well. So this is just kind of like a thank you email. Email number 2 is where we're going to be setting expectations and just talking a little bit more about our brand mission and make sure that we're totally aligned with that. Number 3 is going to be more on the product education side. So basically educating about the product, maybe showcasing some frequently asked questions, how people like to use the product, best use cases, that sort of thing. And then email number 4 is going to be a plain text check-in, and we're going to ask for a review as well. I have a free resource, by the way. So it's an email revenue playbook. It's 126 pages long, so it's very lengthy, but it's basically all of my email marketing knowledge dumped into one massive document. And this covers everything from like list growth, deliverability, flows, campaigns, literally everything that you need to get your email attributable revenue above 40%, even up to 50%. And so yeah, there's a link in the description of this video to go ahead and download that. It's completely free. Getting into the actual post-purchase flow, right? Let's talk about email number 1 for a second. So email number 1 is going to be the plain text founder thank you email. And we're going to send that immediately after someone places an order. And the goal of this is to express genuine appreciation and really just ease buyer's remorse. So a few different touch points that we want to focus on here is number 1, like I said, what I always recommend for this email is to do a plain text format, like a personal email from one person to another. It's as if you're, writing to a friend. Number 2 is going to be, you want to have the founder's voice and you want to write directly from the founder. So it's going to be a first person email. So yeah, you're going to, use your signature. Like, hey, if your name is John, you'd say John, founder of XYZ at the bottom of the email, and really just genuinely thank them, right? Like you want to have genuine gratitude towards them placing their first order with your brand. Sincerely thank them for their first order. Number 4 is you want to ease buyer's remorse. So you want to reassure them that they actually made a great choice. Maybe talk to them about what others are experiencing, why others like the product, and why you're so excited for them to, get that product delivered to them. Another thing too is you want to offer support. So you want to invite them to reach out if they have any questions. You want to make it seem as inviting as possible, right? You want to make it appear that you and your customer service team is always available in case they have any questions or if they have run into any issues with their order. You want to kind of just make it open and offer that support. Offering that support is going to go a really, really long way. And you also want to have a soft shop link, right? So low pressure, continue browsing or exploring more products. This is actually going to be the gateway into them. Once they actually place an order, they're going to click that link on that actual post-purchase email, and that could actually lead them into placing even more orders within that same day or even a few days. So that'll be really, really important to make sure you have that soft shop link, but you don't want to hard sell them or anything. You have to remember they just placed an order. So now we just kind of want to gradually tell them like, hey, we have some other products too in case you want to check it out, and link them directly back to your homepage or even like a collection page. And then lastly, you want to have a personal sign off. So like I said, you want to close with the founder's name, and then optionally you can add like a PS. Sometimes the PS adds like a little nice touch at the end, being like, PS, we thank you for your, here's like an additional tip that people like to, follow when they use our product. Something like that, whatever comes to mind. Having that optional PS is a great idea. Email number 2 is we're going to set expectations and talk a little bit more about your brand mission. So the goal here is to build trust through clarity and brand alignment, right? So a few different touch points that we're going to focus on in this email is number 1, we're going to set expectations and reassure them about what happens next. So for example, when someone places an order, it goes through like a production period, or maybe, you're getting your fulfillment team ready to package the order and attach tracking information. You just want to kind of let the customer know and be transparent about what's actually happening behind the scenes. And that goes a really, really long way. Number 2 is mission alignment. So you want to share how their purchase supports your brand's mission. And by the way, before I actually, go any further into email number 2, I actually want to show you an example of post-purchase email number 1. And this is pulled directly from the playbook as well. But just to show you, let's see here, new customer post-purchase email number 1, you can see that this brand, Butterbean, welcome to the Butterbean Organics family. You're about to join thousands of moms that prioritize healthy skin for their whole. This is more of like a designed email, which, more than okay to do that. What I like to do though is a plain text email. So an example of what that would look like is like, hey, Ritik, I just saw your order and had to reach out. Thank you. When Vishal and I told our moms we were turning their recipes into a business, they were skeptical. Who's going to drink ginger turmeric water for fun? But now every time an order comes through, we tell them and they light up. These recipes that made us drink as kids are now something people actually choose and enjoy. So this thank you isn't just from us, it's from our moms too. You're experiencing the love and wisdom they put into those recipes. If you have any questions when it arrives or want to share what you think, hit reply. We read everything. Continue browsing, CTA. Cheers, and then the founder sign off, and then PS, just like the example I showed you. PS, our moms are already asking if you'll like it. We think you will. So this is like a perfect example of like a great post-purchase email that you can send. It really makes the customer feel amazing, if they receive this after they place an order. Getting back into email number 2, you want to set expectations, talk about the mission. You also want to have a tone of gratitude and reassurance. So you want to be warm and clear and definitely not salesy. You want to just come from a place of appreciation and gratitude. And again, you want to have an optional PS that just adds like a human touch from the founder. Again, main things is that you don't want to have a hard call to action button. This is not a sales email. You have to remember this is part of the post-purchase journey. So you want to focus on making them feel really informed and educated about their purchase. Don't include any track your order CTAs, because depending on your brand, you might not have tracking information necessarily available yet, especially if they've placed an order a day or 2 ago. So it's probably better not to mention the tracking CTA. Maybe you can mention it in like a later email if you do have a tracking page on your website. But I typically don't like to mention any tracking mentions, at least not yet. Just to show you an example of email number 2, brand called Conscious Coconut. So it says your order is being prepared. We're carefully preparing your order and wanted to share what happens next, plus how your purchase creates a positive impact. And then you have like order processing, shipping timeline, packaging care, quality assurance, and then a little section that says your purchase creates impact. So you have fair trade support, feeding children, sustainable practices, medical grade mission. We're here to help you succeed. Again, all these different things that kind of make the customer feel really, really supported. This brand has a link to their care guides, basically educate and provide as much value on how to take care of your skin and your health. So there's a bunch of guides right here. So we're linking them to that. But that's kind of like the idea of what that email would look like. And I know that this brand does have a track my order CTA, but that's because we're sending this email a little bit later until that tracking information gets available. So yeah, nothing wrong with having a track my order CTA. It just really depends on your brand. Email number 3 is going to be more focused on product education. So the goal here is to help them get the most out of their purchase. So at this point, they place your order, maybe you've already shipped it. So now we want to kind of educate them on how to best use product, information about the product, etc. So a few key elements here is maybe sharing some usage tips or some care instructions, maybe sharing some creative use cases. You want to highlight some unique ways that customers use the product. And in terms of the tone, you want to be as helpful and supportive as possible. And you want to focus on being useful, right? Not salesy. Couple optional additions is maybe leveraging some user generated content. So perfect example of adding in some images or even some GIFs of people actually using the product or unwrapping the product, that sort of thing. Maybe including a customer photo or quote. And then as always, you want to have a soft CTA to invite them to explore more products. This is from a brand called Jumping Goat. You can see they like at the top we have 4.7-star Trustpilot verified reviews, one bottle, endless possibilities. So they actually sell like cocktail mixes and that sort of thing. And so in this email, we're having like link to like different cocktail recipes that they have on their website. That's pretty much kind of falls into the category of like use cases and how to use the product. You know, your Jumping Goat is on its way. Now comes the fun part. What's your first pour? Go bold with Goat Flat White, kick things up with a spicy cold brew spritz, or keep it classic with a smooth espresso martini. No matter the choice, one thing's for sure, your nights just got a whole lot better. Find your perfect mix. We've got a full lineup of next level cocktails waiting. And then again, a CTA to try these cocktail recipes. That's gonna link them directly back to their site where they have a bunch of different cocktail recipes and like exactly how they can make the most out of their cocktail mix. So this is actually a great, post-purchase email there. Now, and lastly is email number 4, which is the plain text check-in. So this is going to be the last email of the sequence. And the goal of this is to check in with them, encourage a review, and recommend a next purchase. So the touch points that you want to focus on in this email is number 1, I always recommend that you do a plain text format from the founder. This tends to work really, really well when we ask for a review because it sounds like it's coming genuinely from like a real person. So we want to keep it very simple and personal. Number 2, you want to have a check-in question in this. Ask how everything's going with their purchase. Number 3, you want to offer support. So you want to make it clear that you're available if they need anything. You want to make it seem like you're always available. Our team is always here to support you with your purchase. No matter what you need, we'll always be here for you. Just them knowing that, it's going to increase the lifetime value with your brand. They're definitely going to be placing more orders. Number 4 is you want to have a soft review ask. So if they're enjoying it, what they might leaving a review. So that's how we're going to collect those reviews. And we're going to also have an adjacent product recommendation. So maybe mention one related product that they might love according to what they've originally, if you're selling like a, product A and product B is very complementary, you can have like a soft mention in that email being like, hey, by the way, customers who've also bought product A are really enjoying product B. Here's a link to that as well in case you wanted to check that out. And as always, with plain text emails, you want to have a personal sign off and end with the founder signature. So let me actually show you what this looks like right here. So we have the post-purchase email number 4. This is from a brand called Nori. So loving your wrinkle-free wardrobe. We'd love to hear all the steamy details. Leave us a review and receive 10% off your next purchase. Always a good idea to leave if they leave a review. Let's talk about the ironing board in the room. Obsessed with your Nori purchase, please leave a review to tell us about your experience. So this is like a design version of the email. What I like to do again is like a plain text email. So what that would look like is like, hi Mindy, it's Nathan. I hope your new Stella lamp arrived safely and you've had a chance to try it out. I like to check in with customers to see how everything's going. Are you happy with the light quality? Any questions about the different color settings? If you need help or have thoughts to share, just hit reply. Our team and I are here to make sure you're getting the most from your Stella. If you're loving it, I'd be grateful if you could leave a quick review to help other customers understand what Stella can do. One thing, many customers end up wanting portable lighting for other areas. Our Stella Go does everything your current Stella does, but it's portable. Just if you find yourself wishing you had light elsewhere. Thanks again for choosing Stella. And then we have a link to leave a review. So depending on if you have a review app or if people do reviews directly on your product page, you can link it accordingly. And then and then you want to end off with obviously the founder. So trigger in Klaviyo, right? So the trigger is going to be the placed order metric. And the filter is you want to say place order exactly one. So if I actually navigate over to Klaviyo here, I'll show you exactly how to set that up. So you're going to go into flows on the left. You're going to go to create flow and then build your own. And then title this like, new customer post purchase create. And this is going to be based off of a specific trigger, right? So what you want to do is your store, you're going to do recommended place order. And then re-entry, since, obviously this should only be triggered if someone places their first order with your brand. And yeah, you're going to go ahead and click save. And that's how you set up the trigger. Obviously, you can set up different emails here. You just drag over the emails. You can also add some time delays. I'll go over the time delays as well, but basically that's exactly how you set up the emails. So the trigger is place order, you set up time delays, and there's going to be 4, separate emails that are going to go through this sequence. So going back into this section right here, so we basically want to make sure that they've placed order exactly one time. So that's another thing I wanted to mention as well. So under profile filters, you're going to go to what someone has, and you're going to go to placed order equals 1 over all time. So that's the only profile filter that you're going to need. And again, the reason for that is because you don't want someone to receive this email if they've placed their second, third, fourth order. I believe this criteria should take care of a precautionary measure. I like to add in this filter as well. Place order equals 1 over all time. So this will ensure that only new customers are going to be receiving this flow. So yeah, the first purchase is the most critical moment to nail. Different messaging for someone who already trusts you. That's pretty much the main thing that I wanted to go over here. One bonus that I also wanted to recommend is the repeat customer post-purchase flow as well. So this is going to be triggered when customer places their second order, right? So you want to have a plain text email from the founder. You want to acknowledge that it's their second order. Like, hey, I noticed this is your second time ordering from us. Just wanted to say thank you. You want to express sincere gratitude and make them feel seen. You want to reinforce brand values, remind them why your brand exists. You want to encourage connection. So follow on social, join the community, reply with feedback. You want to have a soft shop link where people can continue browsing or exploring more products. And then as always with a plain text email, you also want to have a personal sign off as well. So I actually have some examples of this as well. So this is for the repeat customer post-purchase flow. So this is if they've placed their second order specifically with your brand. Again, I recommend doing a plain text email, but this is exactly what it would look like, right? So, hi, Corey, I noticed this is your second time ordering from us and I had to reach out personally. Thank you. Seriously, thank you for coming back. When someone orders from us once, we're grateful, but when they order again, that tells us we're doing something right. It means you trusted us with something meaningful the first time and you're trusting us again. That's not something we take lightly. I'm not going to, read through all of this because it's quite a bit, but basically we're just thanking them, acknowledging it's their second order. If you ever want to share how your lamps are bringing connection to your life, just reply to this email. We read every message and we genuinely love hearing your stories. Thanks for being part of the community. And then we have this soft shop link to continue browsing. That they're going to click this link, go back to your website, and then ideally start to shop more and place more orders with your brand. And then we also have a PS section here. So the founder sign off, and then a PS section says, if there's anything we can do to make your experience even better, let us know. You're the reason we're here. So really, really genuine, this email comes deeply, deeply from appreciation. And this is a really important email to have set up. But this is kind of like more of a bonus. You want to make sure that your fundamental, new post-purchase is set up first and foremost. Alive is the post-purchase bounce back. So this email, you want to send 15 to 30 minutes after purchase to capitalize on buying momentum. So really the goal here is to keep the buyer on a hot streak. So the, kind of the premise is that you want to strike the iron while it's hot. If someone just placed an order, likely their credit card is still out and you want to get them to place another order immediately. So basically the goal is like, hey, you're on a roll, don't stop now, that sort of thing. You want to offer them maybe 10 to 15% off for a second purchase within 24 hours and really just have that urgency. Maybe even suggest some complimentary product suggestions, like items that go with what they bought. You want to have a clear, bold CTA, so like get my bounce back offer. And also, like I said, you want to instill that urgency and scarcity, letting them know like, hey, this offer is going to only be on the table for the next 24 to 48 hours. And this works because their trust is fresh. And again, their card is still out. So this is another type of flow that I would recommend building. Again, all this information is going to be in the email revenue playbook that you guys can download. So that's pretty much it. You can see the time delays between each of the emails as well right here. So this is the LTV Labs email profit blueprint when it comes to the flows. And you can see we have all the flows like listed out and mapped out right here. So you can see the new customer post purchase is mapped out and also the repeat customer post purchase. You can see the time delays between each of the emails. And also you can see the, how many emails are in each of these flows as well. So you can see the new customer post purchase has 4 emails here and the repeat customer post purchase has 1 email right here. One thing to keep in mind too is on the 4th email, the time delay might need to be adjusted from 10 days to maybe 14 or 20 days. Really just depends on your delivery times, because you obviously don't want to ask for a review too soon. You want to make sure they have enough time to get the product delivered, use the product, that sort of thing. So these time delays are not set in stone, but in general, like these time delays, the link to this flow chart is actually the LTV Labs email playbook, which is the 126 page.
That's it. You now have a post-purchase flow that turns one-time buyers into repeat customers. By the way, if you haven't grabbed the email revenue playbook yet, it's 126 pages long, covering the 4 pillars of e-commerce email. That's list growth, deliverability, flows, and campaigns. Literally all of my knowledge in 10 years of Klaviyo dumped into this playbook, everything you need to know. And if you're watching this video thinking I'd rather just have someone handle all of my email marketing on Klaviyo for me, well, that's literally what I do for a living. So there's a link in the description to book in a call directly with me, and happy to just have a conversation with you and talk to you a little bit more about your email strategy, see what you're currently doing, and see if there's anything that I can do to help. So other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.